Okay, great. So I just started recording the webinar for our friends who can't join. And as I was just mentioning, we've got a bunch of people here from all over the world. And we'll give them a couple of minutes to get on board with the sound and everything else. But I'm actually going to mute you all in a minute or two because it's going to get a little bit noisy. Yeah, so my name is Daniel. You probably know me from my emails I send out, Daniel Glickman of Powtoon. And I do the marketing there, and we've got Russ Law with us here. And, oh, France too, fantastic. Another country. And we're going to talk about using Powtoon today together with some other software. And it is somewhat advanced of a webinar. So just be aware of that. There will be plenty for those who are new, etc. But at some point it might get, when looking into other softwares, etc. Just giving you a spoiler alert there. So anyways, wanted to give you a couple of minutes just talking a little bit about what we are doing at Powtoons as well. And so you know, we are working right now on revamps of some of the pages. And those are my Powtoons coming up first. As you know, that page needs some work, and we're about to release that early next week. It'll come with some new functionality, including the ability to download a player. So anybody who does work in presentation mode will be able to download the player to do presentations offline if you're not on the internet. And that's been a very popular request. So that's coming. We're also building a publishing platform. So the publishing platform, you won't have to go to YouTube to publish your videos. You'll be able to post them right immediately into Powtoon, play them, share them right from there, and you have a lot of functionality. You won't have any ads like YouTube has, and a bunch of other really great stuff. You'll be able to embed them on your website. And so on and so forth. So that's a big project we're working on too. We've also got the undo button, which has been highly requested, coming up very soon. And I hear I'm going to mute you right now. As well as somebody else says Windows 8 and yada yada. So anyways, so we have reset presentation mode. And we've got something new coming out soon, a brand new big project, which really focuses on presentation mode. We know we've been working it behind the scenes instead of doing gradual improvements to our player. We've been doing it behind the scenes and we're going to bring it out one big release coming. We hope January 15th is right now our internal deadline for launch. So stay noted. We're going to have an alpha and a focus group, and people can join in, and this is going to be really cool. Yes, there will be a recording, so we will post this. But in the recording, as you know, you can't participate and you can't ask questions, etc. Feel free to use the chat. I'll be monitoring it the second I stop talking because I can't talk and read at the same time. So to introduce Russ, Russ is a Powtoonist who started out with us about maybe half a year ago, was it, Russ, I believe? And Russ contacted us and said, I want to make some drawings for you. And I called him back and said, how about you make some Powtoons for us and we do this thing together. And he started doing this Russ Explains and started building his band and started getting jobs and people calling him. So he said, hey, let's just make you an official Powtoonist. And he's now featured on our studio. And actually makes Powtoons for others, and he's extremely creative and does amazing stuff, and uses a bunch of other software sort of in together with Powtoon. So I invited him to do this webinar, and without further ado, I'm going to switch presenter role to Russ right now, and we'll just go from there. And Russ, I'm going to every now and then I'll interject, but most of the time I'll just let you do your thing. I'm wondering. Great. Now, Russ, I don't hear you.
Right. Hello?
Hello, Russ.
Hello,
Okay, we can hear you
right.
now.
Hi. Okay. Fantastic. And you can see my screen. Can you see the right-hand screen with bamboo in the middle?
Yes, you're good to go.
Great. Okay. Great. Okay. Right. Yeah. Thanks for the introduction. Yeah, it was about 6 months ago. I said, I think, yeah, I agree, and that's how it happened. Yeah. So today, I guess I want to run through, because people have noticed that when I make Powtoons, that I sometimes do extra little things that they say, how did you do that, or how did you manage that in Powtoon, right? So I guess one of the big things is sound effects. So if you saw my webinar sort of teaser, it was to show you a bit about how I use a great free program called Audacity, which I've got here on screen. Can you see that, Daniel? Oh.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, great. Right, just getting used to the whole thing of presenting. Right, and the other one is Windows Live Movie Maker, which I was really pleased to see. I've had a look around the internet to look at other free movie makers, and this one, and I think any of you Apple people have got one as well, that allows me to drop in sound effects nice and easily anywhere in a Powtoon. So that's what I wanted to show you today, just to whack in those pops and zings and crackles and bangs that just really make your Powtoon stand out from the crowd and stand out from everyone else's, really, if you do this stuff. And it's not hard. So I guess first we'll be focusing on Movie Maker. I could give you a little link of something that I was just putting together today, so that we've got something to add some sound effects to. Let me just save it here. I had some technical difficulties, so I haven't finished it yet. But if I paste that into the chat thing, it would be clearer for people to see it. The timing's not quite right, but anyway, right. Where's the chat? Here. So if I click on that link, yeah, okay. It's not exactly a resume at the moment, but and we'll just talk about things, the process I've been using, and mainly I think it's, well, yeah, I can accept questions. We can should everyone have a quick look at that first, perhaps? Because if I try and put on my screen here.
No, I think you should go ahead and play it. It's fine.
Okay, right. I'll play that full.
No, and just to let your viewers know that if you if you don't see it well on your screen here, Russ just put the link to it on the chat in the chat box.
Yeah. Okay. So I quickly recorded a super quick voiceover that isn't very impressive, but and then I put one sound effect on, which unfortunately, because of, well, it's not timed quite right, but we'll do that anyway. So I'll press play. So that's it for the moment. It's just very short, but I thought today we could. What I'll do, I've exported it as a movie here. Pop that into Windows Movie Maker, and the Apple people can even. Oh, no sound from the Powtoon. Yeah, it is. The sharing software is quite laggy when you try to show videos. So you've got the link there that you could watch it separately. Okay. So I'm going to open Windows Movie Maker. I can just make sure I've got the right Powtoon. The Powtoon is ready for download. Said. Where's it gone? Right. I don't know if it's got the intro on it. Right. Hang on. We're going to have to quickly do an export. I don't know if we can get this pushed to the top of the line. While I need a quick export on this.
So Russ, while you're doing this, can I ask a couple of questions?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, great. So maybe tell us a little bit about the process of how you start with the Powtoon. Do you start with the visuals, or with the script, or the voiceover?
Yeah, I definitely start with a concept, an idea in my head, right, and then I've watched other people work and looked at things, and some people say you should do it this way and should do it that way, and I've actually tried a few different techniques, which sometimes I wing it a bit, and then it possibly takes a bit more time if you do it that way, but I tried to get an idea down and write down some rough thoughts in Notepad or something, you know, or on a scrap of paper, and then almost a bit early, I'll start to put, you know, go through the look around for visuals and think about what kind of visuals. So actually, I guess for me, I'm sort of doing the script and trying to think of visuals at the same time. That then one feeds into the other, and I think it helps me a bit more. Because I thought here, yeah.
So before I get into the specific example, somebody's asking here, you know, mind mapping or storyboarding. So how do you express those visuals to yourself before you start actually working? How do you convert those, you know, those creative or vague ideas you have into something that's more concrete? I think.
I think I just start writing everything down, really. You know, it could be on a bit of paper, or often I'll use the computer because it's just neater for me. I'm quite a messy sort of person in a way. So the notepad's good. I keep typing ideas, and I suppose it's sort of mind mapping. I feel I probably should get back onto a bit of paper with some circles and lines and little spider diagrams, but I tend to just write down thoughts. There's a word, right, I want this resume. I think of a guy with a little projector like I've got on screen here. Then I start to if I just try and open it.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. It's a little different. I've done it in many different ways too. The way I like to do it now is I'll actually write it down on the table. So I'll start out very logically, actually, and I'll write down the script. And I'll write, you know, each sentence, and I don't need to have it like nailed down. I just say something like, you know, ask the viewer a question about why they are worried about something else.
I've been trying some different techniques, but I think that's the way I've started working with you six months ago on the Russ Explains, and for sure, if I could, I'll find a folder. I have been doing that with a lot of clients. Yeah, I'll quickly show you an example of one, and that probably is about the best way to do it. We'll just start there with one of these tables. Like I know when I was doing Q check.
Yeah, I think that's a great example, because I think especially when you're working with someone else, but also when you're working with yourself and going back and forth on this, it's great to just kind of, you know, just bring it down to the basic concepts of every single step throughout the storyline. And also, nowadays I'm also adding a column that expresses what the emotional state of the viewer we want to create. So what kind of emotional roller coaster we want to bring them through. So it's like, you know, very happy, excited, bored, you know, whatever. And so that way, usually we hire voiceover talent, like you do when you do the voiceover. So you try to explain to the voiceover person what you want from them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. This is one that's a great idea. This is something I did with speech. Actually the voiceover part, the text that should be on screen. It was very simple, and then the image, exactly like that. Yeah, and I had a table, and then the next part was Tate's big problem is he's waiting to receive check in the mail, and text on screen is him saying no checks today. So that's exactly it. And if I find one of the first Russ explains, or I think I got into one or two of
That's
those.
amazing. You actually draw in a storyboard, so you really get invested in the process.
Yeah. Should I? Yeah. Yeah, I think we did like this folder. There's a lot of stuff here for you. I mean, do you think that's a reasonable example to have a look at?
I think most of our viewers wouldn't go that far as to actually sketch in.
Well, the good thing is, right, I work in Illustrator, and when I do the sketch, it's often, I'm lucky enough that it's often roughly there, so that when I show the client the storyboard, and I show him that image, then he says, "Yeah, we can go with that." So I'm halfway there. So it's not extra work for me. It's great. It's like, okay, I know that bit's done, you know. So here, so yeah, I worked with the client on the script here. Then he found Q check, and the client was very keen to have it his way. Sometimes they let me and my script writer just or me. It depends how. Sometimes I work on the scripts on my own, but sometimes, yeah, you get some clients will want to control it more or less. So yeah, Q check on monitor. This one was very visual, not much. I don't think there's even any more. But yeah, having another section for the reaction you want from the audience over here that's a brilliant idea.
I see that Viewer 422 says that they actually do it too, which is awesome. So it's great to see that you're not this is not freakish. It's just just that you're very thorough about it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. It saves time. I was talking to Carl Kwan, another Powtoonist, about that, and he said the same as me. When you sort of don't do that as thorough, you end up with more problems, because halfway through the client can say, oh, actually, I didn't want that, and I do this, and I get the client to sign it off verbally, are we good to go on these? Are we good to go on the visuals? And when I get the yes, then it's cool to say, right, well, going back over this stuff again is going to take more time, and therefore, extra budget. So we sign off and we move forward. And then you can get straight into the animation. Yeah, so that's here we go. That was a very good example, but I don't always do it that way. Sometimes I've got the script, like for the Russ Explains, and then I put together all of the visuals with the script, and then often I'll record the audio afterwards, and then trim in a program like Movie Maker. So that's where it probably isn't such a good idea, and I've been experimenting, but that's one way. I always have the script first. I've got to get that, but I'll be throwing down some ideas while I'm adjusting the script, and then afterwards I have been adding the voiceover on top. But it could be pretty cool just to have the voiceover as well at the beginning, so you can then time your Powtoon.
Yeah, we've got viewer 435 is asking about. We've got a ton of viewers here asking about how do you deal with timing? So if do you get an order for say a 60-second Powtoon or a 30-second Powtoon, or is it that it's going to be as long as it's going to be? How do you plan for that time in this stage, at this part of the game?
Yeah, well, I've definitely, let me find the counter. Just a sec. I've got a great.
And also, how do you deal with pace? Like, how do you decide if it's going to be slow moving or really fast moving? Because that affects timing too.
That's right. That's right. I think, I mean, it gets more advanced, but I sort of got I had some great practice with timing because I used to export all of this took longer, but I used to export all of my Powtoons and then put them to Adobe Premiere, which I don't know how much we'll talk about that today, but that's where luckily I found Movie Maker that's doing a great job. But I'd put them into Adobe Premiere and then I'd really trim them up to get the timing right. Okay, and that's where I'd add the voice and I'd trim bits and pieces all over the place to get that timing and momentum exactly how I wanted it. But recently I found I don't need to do that anymore because I've had a lot of practice there. And for example, when I did the Bliss one, the marriage one, I did it completely in Powtoon, and I think even the voiceovers in there. And because I'd just with practice, really, I'd nailed it, and I didn't need to muck around that much anymore.
That's that's great feedback to hear that our improvements are actually helping. It's not just more features; it's helping you just get everything done. So that's good.
Yeah, that's right. That would be.
Which, by the way, if the viewers want to type in the chat box any kind of features you want to see, we would love to hear. I'd love to see from you here, and maybe it might develop into a conversation. We also have a section in our site that we gather feedback, and we really base a lot of our development on your feedback and your requests. So either through that or through email or here, whatever. We really do care about it and want to do maybe 60% of our development is based off of user requests.
Okay, I'm just checking on that download now. I think your Powtoon is ready.
So put in
I'll start downloading that, and so that's downloading down there. Right. Yeah, I think one of the great things, I know you guys wanted to keep it Powtoon simple, but when you came out with the half-second timing, that's probably what did it for me. That gave me that extra bit where before I had to work in Adobe Premiere and have all my timelines, and it got a bit complex. This half-second timing just allowed me to get it to just really nail it and bring it in and get everything really the way I wanted it. So yeah, this is probably one of a very successful Powtoon. I didn't need to muck around in any other programs really. I think once I added the music, oh, there's another finished part. This is roughly the right one. Yeah, it just practicing doing those 10 Russ Explains was just such great practice. It's hard to discipline yourself just to keep practicing, but doing those, I did one a week, right, Daniel, and it was that was just fantastic practice, and then I found it just got easier and easier. The timing became more natural and things. Yep.
Yes, those are wonderful. And I still get a lot of feedback on them. People just really like those videos.
Okay, fantastic. Right. Okay. Now I've got my Powtoon downloaded here. There's a funny noise on the right. So yeah, one of the software things that you guys can definitely easily use. If I put my exported Powtoon into Windows Movie Maker, can everyone hear me? Okay.
I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. I'll keep going as we're recording it. So
yes,
I've added what I here. I did this very quickly this afternoon, and I had to go and collect the kids. But one of the things when I realised the audio was starting too quick of me, so luckily I threw in my bumper intro, which I talk about in the Russ videos, and that just with a tiny bit of timing, I think that's 6 seconds, it just gave me enough, and then the voice starts just at the right time. So have a look. This thing in Windows Movie Maker.
Now, Russ, I can't hear any of the voiceover, any of the sound. I don't know if that's on purpose or not.
No, that's not. I had. Oh no, hang on. Yeah, that's a good point. Let's rewind and just play it. Yeah, it's all there. So the export I've got has got Powtoon music. It's got my voiceover, and I just did a sneaky little thing and added the sound of the projector, which I knew, because I knew it would be in there the whole time. It was easy. But if at a certain point now we get like one of my for example, a pop sound effect, and right here we just tell it's actually the command for add music, but it will allow us to add lots of little sound effects. So it's just anyone using this software, anyone who's got Windows. I'll just find a comedy pop sound effect, and then I'll show you a couple of places where I find my sound effects. There's all this free stuff out there. So let's just look at the comedy pop in. Right. Okay. Or we could even go directly to. I've written it down on a notepad. Right.
So while you're working that, I'll just mention to others, if anybody out there is wants to become another Russ, or to do something like Russ explains, we'll be very happy to work with you and do that. We're looking for interesting content, and we really like to support the community that way. So if you make Powtoons for others, or if you want to start making Powtoons for others, we could mentor you and work with you on this, and help you get out there. And basically, you provide the content, we'll provide the audience. So assuming you're good at it, because we're looking for people who are better than than the average.
Better than me now, yeah.
Yeah, better. That's just being humble.
Right. Now here we go. There's some sound effects, right? We'll have a look in a minute. There's some great places where you get free sounds. But I've put this into the correct folder now where I'm working webinar. At this point, it's about here, so we can get pretty. This is probably quite the right thing for a comedy pop in, because it's more of a, I'll just add music. I'm just going to browse to the webinar folder. And if I just place this comedy pop finger in mouth, why did it do that?
Yeah, so while you're doing this, somebody's asking if you can add sound. It's better to add sound from inside Powtoon or not, and I think it's it's really up to if you find the music you need there. We've got quite a bit of music, but you can definitely go and get other music. Everything we provide is royalty free, and you have to just be aware that if you're making Powtoons for commercial use, you can't just take music off the web and use it. You have to make sure you have the proper license. Even if it's Creative Commons, there are different licenses there as well. So you really have to make sure you have the rights to use it. And YouTube is actually getting very, very difficult with that. They recognize now soundtracks, and they've been flagging, before we upload it on the music library, they've been flagging users saying you don't have some kind of certificate or whatever showing that your music is royalty free. So we had a bunch of issues around that, and users uploading their own music tracks. But now most are using ours, and that seemed to have gone away.
Yeah, that's it. It's there is some amazing music out there on Premium Beat, which is $40 a go, but usually my clients are happy to pay for that. It depends on the size of their company and stuff, but between different clients, sometimes they're okay to pay for that, and other times they're happy with the Powtoon music. So yeah, that is a tricky one. but workable. You know, there's quite a lot out there. And some people, I think I've put it on some of the Russ Explains, Dano songs. He's got some fantastic sound stuff for explainer videos. And as long as you just give him a comment in the thing, you can use his music. So there's a lot of people out there like that. They just want what do you call it? A thank you, you know, and a link. So back to this. This is where I was. It's just add music at the current point. I was clicking the wrong one. So there we go. If anyone is as silly as me, so I've got the comedy pop in, and now if I rewind this and play, so it's as simple as that. I made my Powtoon. I drop it in. Just gonna play. Should be a sound effect. Right, hold on. Oh, okay. This.
Yeah, we can't hear it yet.
I may have to upload it.
No sound. Yeah, we don't hear the sound. But yeah, we'll ask Russ for the name of that website, and when he gets a second to concentrate on it. Somebody was asking a question before. Oh yeah, somebody asked if you know, beyond intro videos, what other videos can be made with Powtoon, and so I'll just keep going on because it looks like Russ is busy over there. So yeah, we've seen people use Powtoon for a host of different usage. Of course, a ton in education. Basically, different explainer videos, any kind of explanation, but that also includes employee training, lots of internal use videos. So a lot of the best videos we've seen. Oops, I hear the sound effect.
Yeah, that actually works, right. Right, I'm almost there. Thanks, Daniel, for covering.
So yeah, so basically we've seen a lot of the best videos we've seen were internal use, and we can't publish those because they're confidential. We've seen videos for of course all kinds of promotions. We've seen TV ads made with Powtoon. We saw one time, this was amazing, somebody proposed to his girlfriend on a huge screen, and this was in China, in a central city square. So I forget the city name, but it was, you know, the city of like 20 million people or something, and in the central square, enormous screen, and he made a beautiful video, you know, where he shows basically why he loves her. So that was awesome. You know, you can do a lot of these kind of videos, but of course, the most of them are promotional, and we do see a lot of presentations too, which is something that's been growing in popularity. So there is a presentation mode where you can put stops in it and present in front of a live audience.
Right, I'm just going to try this. I've added another. Yeah, we actually got a sound effect, right? So I'm just pushing it a bit more.
It doesn't look as easy as it was meant to look, I have to say.
Well, see, yeah, I'd hope, yeah. Let's see. I'll throw a few in and just give people an idea there, right? So Powtoon is not quite the right sound thing. Let's have some. I thought a little sound like the click pop would work. It's kind of strange that I think I'll just try the. Because if I play it here, I don't know. I really thought that.
So, yeah, somebody. I'll just keep on yammering here while you figure that out. I think the conversation is actually very interesting and helpful. So maybe we can focus on that too. But so now we. Somebody was asking what are the 3 benefits of Powtoon versus Flash, and clearly Flash is a professional tool. You can do amazing things with Flash. Anything really. There was a cinema movie made with Flash. I think it was called Dance with Bashir, or Also with Bashir, or something like that. But it won. I think it even won an Academy Award. But the Flash is very complicated and difficult, and it costs a lot of money. All of those things. It's very powerful. and with that comes all the complexity that comes with it.
Yeah,
Powtoon is really, yeah. Go ahead. What have you used Flash, Russ?
Yeah, I used to try. I did a few little things, but that's the thing. It depends on who you are. Some people will love the complexity and take off, but for me, it was just a hindrance because I like to draw and I like to present things quite simply in the way Powtoon lets me, and then I can let my creativity flow. So the stuff I did, like any of the stuff I've done with Powtoon, is just so much better than the Flash because I wasn't tripped up by that the complexity of it. There wasn't, it's so simple to use. So that's all I can say. If you look at my stuff, well, I need to find some old examples of Flash that weren't particularly, inspiring. I could dig some out. Yeah, so Powtoon really changed that massively. Simplicity.
And yeah, I think we're really focusing on that and on the providing sort of a preset environment for you to just explainer videos. You can make anything. You can make logos. I mean, you can do anything you can think of really. And here in Powtoon, we just want to allow you to make videos and presentations and within a business or educational context. That's really all we want to provide. And so, is that the website you were recommending, Russ?
I've got a couple of them. There's freesound.org. Let's just try that. If it loads, when it loads.
And just to answer why they're doing this, somebody's question was saying about, basically just they were asking if they need to use all these tools if they get the agency account. And Russ was explaining before that nowadays you don't need any other external tools to publish. You can pretty much do everything with Powtoon. This webinar was just focusing on it for those who want it or want an extra edge. And Russ did a few stuff that at the time we didn't support, and one can still do added cool stuff by using external tools like sound effects, which we don't have. And
let's just get
but we will.
I think this is my favorite one. You just need to make a free login, right? Just to get the sounds, SFX. So if I just paste that in into the chat, where's the chat gone? Here, free SFX. This is probably the best one. They've got lots of stuff. Track.
Oops.
I think there's real tracks in there that aren't bad at all.
Mm-hmm. Now, are those commercial? Are those common Creative Commons, or do those? How does it work over there?
I'm not sure about these ones. Yeah, I wish I could tell you. Stop music. Now let's just if I click on view all, so try and find a music track. Well, that's okay. There's license terms, so we'll just have a look at that.
Yes, it's important to look at the different license terms, and again, the license is different whether you're using it for personal use, for business use, or for resale use.
Yeah, you must credit them. So
yeah, and
so yeah. I mean, it's not too bad, is it? For free, if you give them a credit, I think you can use any of this music.
Yeah, and I guess if it's I guess if you're creating this Powtoon for a client, it would be a little awkward to put the credit in there somewhere, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if you even in films though, you have all the credits rolling at the end. It's something I've considered, right? That we could just have. Someone's just written personal commercial is very different. It is, and with commercial, you'd be hoping that if you go to premium, or actually, I have another link. Found thing on Audio Jungle. This guy's music is about $7, And often, if it's commercial, the client will be happy to pay for it, and if it's personal, then you'll be able to use other stuff for free. And some of these are quite nice. This is a particular user on Audio Jungle, so I do spend quite a bit of time trawling or looking around the web for good music, and then I see how much it is. Some of it's free, some of it, isn't. So yeah, and other people will know other places to look. But $17 for a commercial usage is pretty good, really, in a whole project, I think.
Yeah, it is. And we haven't gotten any requests, I think, to add music to our music library. We've commissioned that music specifically from a video artist, excuse me, a composer, who made it exclusively for us. So we can get more if needed, but it seems that people are quite happy with what we have. So if any of the viewers or if you, Russ, if what you see is if you see that you want something we don't have, or we're sort of missing some styles that make sense, please do let us know. We want to fill in that void.
Right, fantastic. Yeah, that would be good for everyone. Listen to that. I mean, that's the thing. I think for me, when I do my work, I tend to use upbeat, fairly sort of happy stuff. So on the Powtoon, we've got a lot of different moods. I'm sure some people want those, but for me, I'm only using a smaller part when we've got. If I just look quickly what they are. Dramatic, motivation, rock. Yeah, I mean, that's just for explainer videos. I'm tending to be focusing on the happy, and even the dramatic for me is often a bit too much. Well, that one's great actually.
Yeah, and Russ, I don't think we can really hear your music very well.
Okay. Yeah. Well, okay. So it's like that's what I mean. When you look at a lot of explainer videos, if that you Powtoon to do a lot more than just these sort of explainer videos. But a lot of people are doing those with Powtoon, and therefore I'm finding some of the more dramatic music isn't so useful to me. I prefer that happy, upbeat sort of stuff. I want to tell you something else because I haven't really pulled it off with adding sound effects, but it's one way to do it. I mean, I was going to show you one sort of useful trick with Audacity. Or do you want to say something, Daniel?
Oh, I just wanted to sum up the sound effect. So it sounds like basically the way you do it is you first create the video, the voiceover of the video, or the other way around, export it, then bring it into Movie Maker and add the sound effects after everything is already done.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
That's the way I do it. Yeah. So I mean, to show you another project I've been doing, like if I open Russ Explained 6, here we go. This is where I did everything in Premiere. So we've got looking for something. Let's just skip that. I think we're still good. All right, skip all. Okay, that's not. It's because.
Wow, that looks complicated.
That was when I started. So I think you guys saved me by adding in the half-second timing, right? Because I just wasn't happy before, and I had to really muck around. I wish I could find one. Yeah, so you can see it was it was a bit over the top before. Unfortunately, when I moved hard drives, and I'm still not brilliant with yeah, this is crazy. Just want to find one with the audio on the audio and the visuals. Move locations. Here we go. Right. So yeah, this I normally put on another screen. Let's just shrink it down. So hit the side. Wow, right. 50% on another monitor. Yeah, these days I definitely don't need to do any more than one video track. I think we're pretty much on one video track there, so we don't need to worry too much about that. It's basically at the point where I've dropped something in. I've split up the audio just to get the timing a bit better, which these days it depends. I mean, so but this is where I've got multi-layers of sound effects. But you know, I guess I was having masses of fun and I was adding so many. You know, it kind of worked like the guy with the.
You know, Russ, it strikes me, rather than showing the, you know, the actual interface of this software, because it's
Yeah.
it's just overwhelming actually. But you know, it seems like you really have a knack for sound effects, and I wonder, you know, how do you pick what to give an effect, and how do you know it's not too much or too little?
Right.
What kind of tips can you give there?
Okay. Well, I like this site. This, I think, is my favorite site. Find Sound seemed good for just searching more widely.
But when would you, in the movie, when would you throw in a sound effect? So I mean, clearly, if the phone rings, it would be nice to have a ringing tone. But you know, would you basically, do you simply look around and look at the video and say, hey, where can I stuff sound effects in here? Is that kind of how you go about it?
If I open Bean, she was very open about that. It'd be cool to have a look. Bean Tally, simplify.
Oh, we see all your clients here, Russ.
They're on my YouTube channel, so it's cool. No, this isn't Bean Tally. Oh dear, right. Sorry, simple. Yeah, I know. It must be here, simple Bean Tally. So here we go. We're loading it up. Right. This was. Oh, right. Someone's just brought me a cup of tea.
Someone. That's nice.
My wife.
That's nice.
I was trying to be mysterious, you know, without right. So here, I guess putting this into, let's say, Adobe Premiere, or I think it still can be done with Windows Live Movie Maker, which I wanted to give people a free alternative. Here, I definitely had the typing sound, right? So I just went here. If I quickly log in and bring the screen back, home, and if we just do typing. So when after I've done everything, that like a few samples to listen to, the electric typewriter, or the more standard, you know, you had the old Apple. I think I chose the Apple keyboard. Download MP3.
Just upload it right into. Well, you can't right now upload it into Powtoon because it would occupy a whole track.
No, yeah.
But
that's right. It would occupy a whole track. But that's where I don't know if you can hear that sound. It's great.
No, unfortunately not.
Okay, right. So yeah, I've got even if we try desperately to go back to this little one, I've got the guy typing. You know, he's supposed to be kind of work.
Yeah, I think we get the point there, Russ. I think we can. Yeah. I think that's, you know, it's really easy. It's really easy in general. We just go to this location and find a location that makes sense and put in the you know, input of the audio file.
I'll do that. I've added it anyway, and I'll just see there. So I can hear that little typing sound.
Sound.
Yeah, So I've done that. We're on Bean Tally, aren't we? The next thing I had the thundercloud, and I actually found a little bit of rain, flash, because I had flash things. This is a simplified version. I wanted to show somebody without the flash, but thunder and rain, I think.
Well, you know, Russ, I wanted to open up the. We're nearing an hour here, so I wanted to make sure we got a chance to have the audience ask questions and see what
Sure.
they, if they had further questions. We're pretty active in the beginning, and now it sounds a little quiet there in the chat. So I wanted to make sure to encourage people to just, if you have any specific question about your own video, something you're struggling with, or something that Russ can help you, or any comments about this, and please put them in the chat. And I had, so, beyond, so my understanding is that you use these external software mostly in the past to use to add sound effects essentially, and then before we had a half second to snip and snap visuals here and there in order to just squeeze it in tighter.
That's right.
To get transitions aligned with the sound.
Yeah, it was tightening. That's right, tightening up those things. I wanted faster things popping in more than just every second, so that's where I was using Adobe Premiere to cut it. But recently, with the half second, I don't need to now, and yeah, that helped a lot. So now really, it's just Adobe Premiere is just where I'm laying in the sound effects afterwards.
And I do see a question here from the audience as well about making things stand out, or comment there. How do we, make our videos stand out compared to others? Because, there are already almost a million Powtoons created out there. It's unbelievable. And what, so we are adding more content and yada yada, but how do you make, how do you take a Powtoon that maybe you've had, like look at this one, that's just amazing what you did there.
Thanks.
Yeah. Tell us about, how did you make that stand out? What's the trick you did here?
Yeah. Well, we have this little guy, right? So this is all standard stuff. So I love just work. I obviously work with Photoshop or Adobe Fireworks as a web designer years ago a lot, and this is just an extra graphic, so I knew that I wanted him to have a big, heavy sales tax bag. So I just created that as a transparent PNG, and then this is another thing, obviously, that makes that difference, where you can get in front of other people when clients see that, oh, that's new, that's different. So I like to just enhance the Powtoon library with little bits. So yeah, I think someone said it. I created that in Photoshop. It was quite easy to do, and I just wrote the text. And then it has to be a transparent PNG, and it's dropped on top. Just added on. And he's even got a little bag there as well, which is the payroll. Again, just added on top.
Fantastic.
So
now, another way to do it, by the way, for those asking, is you can actually import images just off the web. Again, look at the commercial licensing and so on. But you could get an image. There you go. Russ is showing us as a web. We have a web search, and all the images you see here, through our search, we have an integration of Flickr, so they're all Creative Commons, and they're all the tightest license. Yeah, we had to take this out of the student version, the education version, actually. That's a little anecdote, because nothing we found in there was totally inappropriate, but it was just enough to say, they're like guns and stuff that we just knew it's asking for trouble, and it was outside content, so we didn't let them search. But yeah, you can bring in images too. Yeah. And you can also ask for props, etc. We clearly wouldn't have them in time for the video you're working on right now. But if there are themes or styles that you think would be beneficial, we'd love to hear it, because if enough people are asking for medical theme, we will definitely make it. You know, for instance, and so on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here the client supplied me some logos, and I just put her logo being tallied to the cloud, and I made her other logo as a little desk. Yeah, I find this is very important. You know, I don't like. I always like to add some little bits where I can here and there. Not too many on Bean Tally. There's definitely the one with the big.
Oh my gosh, we had a couple of people join in now. Well, you know what, guys? Let me just tell us if we have a bunch of people joining in late, an hour late, hang on in there, and maybe we'll do this again. Russ, is that okay with you to repeat this?
Yeah, sure. They can just
Okay.
ask questions. I can give an overview.
Yeah, if it's just a couple of people, then obviously it wouldn't be worthwhile. But yeah, so we'll hang on in there, guys. If you just came in, let's see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I found a piggy bank silhouette image that was, or I can't remember how much I drew this myself. But again, in Photoshop, cutting, pasting, and that, it's not hard to throw bits around. That was the main one. The piggy bank and the sacks just made that a little bit different. And you can find, the more advanced users can find the flash elements and just add them in. But that, I guess, that's much more advanced. I've done this. Yeah, I've done this a lot. Bits of clip art. If I leave that page. Is there anything else? Just have a quick look there.
Okay, Russ. So it looks like we have a bunch of people that are starting to join that had that for some reason, I think somebody mentioned something about Canada time. I'm not sure what's going on, but and I know I messed up in the email and you you were a different date someplace. So let's.
I'll just go and switch the light on because I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Okay, so I'm gonna take here. I'm gonna take reclaim presenter role and share last window. Okay, so just stop the recording here. Great. Okay, guys.